Hello everyone and welcome to another game I played on Ptcgo. For this match I'm going to be trying out a Dragonite Garbodor deck. So this deck relies on locks, two locks specifically. So Dragonite is used to do an item lock with its first attack deafen, does 60 damage and prevents your opponent from using item cards. And the second lock is Garbodor with ability lock. So here I'm going to start off with Dratini in the active spot, and my opponent is going to start off with a Kyurem. So I didn't mulligan, so he could have drawn more Pokemon, but fortunately he didn't. He's going to Team Plasma Ball for Deoxys. He can really easily get the turn 1 knockout and the win here. He puts down a Veerbank, but does he have a Colress machine to get an additional energy on the Kyurem? So we're going to see a Juniper. If he can get that Colress machine, it's over. He can do the 40 damage necessary to Dratini and knock me out. So fortunately he does not. I get a DCE, and with that, a rare candy into Dragonite, and I'm going to catch up that Deoxys since it has no energy attached, and I will deafen for 60 and get the luck in place. So now my opponent's going to attach to his benched Kyurem. Try to power that up, since it's probably the one thing that can one-shot me at this point, or can two-shot me if I get the ability lock in place, because Deoxys won't be able to add 10 to his attacks. But it looks like he takes that energy attachment back. He might be wanting to attach to Deoxys instead, so he can attack with it, or so he can retreat it, since switch cards won't be able to work, since they are tool cards. So he attaches a Prism energy onto Deoxys and ends his turn. I'm going to Hypnotoxic Laser that Deoxys, help me get more damage on him more quickly, and I'm going to deafen for 60, and he's down to 20, so if he doesn't retreat it somehow he will lose 2 prizes here. So he's going to attach again to Deoxys and attack for 30, but he's going to lose his Deoxys in between turns, and I take the first 2 prizes. Unfortunately here I don't have any other Pokemon in play yet, but I do have that dowsing machine, so I'm going to use it not to get another Pokemon, but to get that Hypnotoxic Laser back. I think it'll be beneficial so I can hopefully wrap this game up in 2 turns. So if I Hypnotoxic Laser and he's not able to draw into any more Pokemon, I can get the win fairly quickly here. I'm going to Hypnotoxic Laser and then just N. I didn't manage to draw into any Pokemon, but I will just deafen for 60, and he's going to take 30 in between turns, leaving him with 40 HP left. So at the end of my next turn, he will be knocked out if he doesn't do anything. But unfortunately for me, he has Keldeo, and with that he can rush in and retreat since abilities are not locked yet. He can rush in, but he can't retreat since Floodstone cannot be played. So he does get another Kyurem as well on that turn, so it won't be as easy of a win as I hoped. But then again, we started with that in the beginning on his end. So here I'm going to Skyla for a catcher. Since his Kyurem is the only thing with energy on it, it's sort of smart here to just knock it out and remove an option for him. So I'm going to deafen for 60 and the knockout and take my 3rd prize. That's a switch. I still have no Pokemon on the bench, but he really doesn't have much on his side of the field either. He will end me into a Tropius, which I am happy to see, although it's not an attacker in this deck. And I'm going to place that Tropius on the bench. He did attach to one of his Kyurems. I'm just going to deafen again for 60 and wait to see what his next move is. He's checking his discard to see what it's gone through. Looks like he's going to attach again to his benched Kyurem. And I'm probably going to deafen unless I can hit a supporter. But it looks like he's going to end. And fortunately I do get a Dratini and a Tropius off of that end. Tropius I play as a draw supporter since it's fairly good here because it uses grass energy. So I will again hit him for 60, and he's 50 short of the knockout, so if he doesn't retreat I will be able to knock it out. and have a commanding 5 prize lead. So my opponent's just going to pass, it looks like. I hit a chorus, and I get to play it. From that, I'm going to get a Garbodor to evolve my Tropius. I can play that EXP share on Garbodor, but it's probably better played on the Dratini, since having a consistent flow of Dragonites in play is fairly important. So I'm just going to take the knockout with Dragonite and take 2 more prizes. My opponent promotes Kyurem, and since I do have damage on Dragonite, he will be able to take the knockout here. So I'm going to transfer one of those grass energies onto the Dratini with the EXP share on it. I'm going to Juniper in hopes of getting a rare candy Dragonite, but I do not. So this leaves me in somewhat of a dilemma. He can attack me because of the conditions of his last attack. He has to skip a turn before being able to attack again. I get a Floatstone here. Debating what to attach it to, I decided to go for Tropius and not Garbodor. So I don't really want ability lock in play yet. I guess I want to coax him into playing some Deoxys to try to catch them up as well. So I'm just going to attack with Dratini. That could have been a misplay. Not sure. I might have wanted to manually retreat and just attack with Tropius or use that switch card. It looks like my opponent is going to Ultra Ball here for a Thundurus, put it down on his bench, and attach a Prism Energy, I believe, to it. He will Computer Search, discarding a Hypnotoxic Laser, which I'm happy to see in his discard pile. And I'm waiting to see what he draws from that, or what he gets from that Computer Search. So here, his best play would be to catch Erupt's Garbodor to try to stop me, but I do have switch cards in hand. He's going to send up Thundurus and Chorus for 6. Can he get something good? And it looks like he does. He gets a Toe Scrapper. He gets rid of my EXP share and Floatstone, but they're not too crucial here. He will Chorus Machine. Since the lock is broken, he's using a lot of his item cards here, and he gets a Plasma Energy onto Kyurem. And with that, he will end his turn by using Raiden Knuckle for 30 and attaching 1 energy from the discard pile to his bench Kyurem. So here I really need to get a Dragonite into play. I'm going to attach a Tropius, attach a Floatstone to Dratini so I can retreat it, promote Tropius, and Hypnotoxic Laser to his Thundurus. I'm going to use that Verbank against him, since he hasn't really played lasers, since he hasn't been able to. And I will return for 10 and be able to draw until I have 6. So that's a useful attack from Tropius, and that it's a nice little draw attack. So my opponent's going to promote Kyurem and knock out my Dratini with snipe damage. So I piled all that energy on it for naught, it appears. I'm going to level ball just to check my deck out and burn that card. I'm going to catch her up Thundurus, I believe, since I don't want Kyurem sniping my Pokemon, and Thundurus won't be able to snipe. I will catch up Thundurus, put another Dratini on the bench, and I'm going to Super Rod a Dragonite, a Dratini, and a Lightning Energy. And just finally, Juniper. So I do manage to get a Grass Energy to put on Dratini, and unfortunately here I misplay. I'm going to Rare Candy into Dragonite, but I'm going to Rare Candy into the Dragonite with no energy. So that's kind of a boneheaded move there. Really shouldn't have done that, but I misclicked, I think. I do attach a Floatstone onto Garbodor, so abilities are shut off now. So if he wants to play Deoxys, it won't do him any good. He's going to Team Plasma Ball. I'm not sure what he's hoping to get here, since Deoxys won't do him any good, but it looks like he goes for Thundurus instead. and he's going to hit me with a Raiden Knuckle for 60. It does twice as much damage because Tropius is weak to lightning. And now he did attach from the discard again. I'm going to attach a DCE onto Dragonite, Skyla for a rare candy, so I can have 2 Dragonites in play, further reducing his options and mounting the pressure on his end. I only need to take 1 more prize and he needs to take 4. And I'm just going to attack with Tropius with return, once again drawing more cards, and fortunately one of those was a DCE, so I can now attack with either Dragonite. So his Thundurus still has 110 left, so it's not going to get knocked out anytime soon. It's going to switch into Kyurem, and with a Frost Spear he'll be able to knock out Tropius and deal some snipe damage onto Dragonite. He chooses to go he chooses to attack the one with the DCE, sorry. But I send the fresh one and just attach a different DCE onto it anyway, just because he didn't know I had that in hand. So now I'm going to deafen again for 60, and now at this point both locks are in play, so no tool or item cards can be played by him, and all his abilities are shut off. So it definitely reduces his options and gives him a lot of dead cards in hand. So now my opponent's going to manually retreat into Thundurus. He's probably going to Raiden Knuckle to try to power up his Kyurem so he can one-shot me, since both of my Dragonites do have enough damage where it would only take 1 attack on his end to knock each one of them out. So I'm just going to deafen. I don't really have any other play. My Dragonites are powered up at this point, and his Thundurus will be able to withstand that attack, but 1 more and I will get the knockout, so he'll have to retreat this turn into something else, maybe his other Thundurus. Looks like he's going to go into Kyurem and hit me for 120 and the knockout. So just as I said, his Kyurems can one-shot me at this point thanks to the damage. But here I can end it if I get a catcher, so I'm going to check my deck to see if I do. I'm going to play that Ultra Ball, and unfortunately it looks like I do not have a catcher left in my deck. But I will get that Tropius, just because I do need an alternate attacker if he manages to knock out my Dragonite. It is the last one in my deck. I have 7 cards left, and he has fewer than that. So I will deafen for 60, and just hope that he doesn't have any way to stall me out. So now my opponent is going to bench 2 Deoxys. That's really big catcher bait, but as I said, I don't have any more in my deck. Or maybe one of them is prized. He's going to retreat his Thundurus, his Kyurem, and go into Thundurus. He'll Raiden Knuckle and attach to one of his benched Pokemon here. Looks like it's going to be one of those Kyurems. Or maybe that Thundurus. No, it'll be a Kyurem. And I'm going to attach again to Tropius. I will deafen for 60. So I think I have game here. So if he doesn't retreat his active Thundurus, I will be able to knock it out. And he's 1 card short of decking himself. So he needs an N here. He's going to Skyla. If he can get that N, he's going to buy himself more turns. But it looks like his last card is a catcher. So he can catcher up anything. But all I need to do is pass, and I get the win because he will deck himself. Or here, he doesn't use it, so I get to attack, and I get the knockout that way. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. You can also play it with Zepstrike.